This is Leafs Morning Take with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill.
Now we've got a fight started here right off the bat with Rosehill.
30 minutes of live, nonstop Leafs talk starts now.
Just like that, I found the new goal song for the Maple Leafs. It's not Can You Make My Dreams Come True, by the way. But we'll get to this conversation you see here on YouTube, presented by PointsBet Canada and Montana's. It's the Friday edition of Leafs Morning Take. Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with you to wrap up another week as we get closer and closer, Jay, to the March 3rd NHL trade deadline. What's up, bud?
Not too much, man. Yeah, it's creeping up on us. I can't wait to see what goes down. There's a lot of thought that goes into it, and we will see somebody make a trade already.
No, it's someone make a trade. Oh, well, there you go. It's on your screen right there. New product, Golden Muzzy's first ever t-shirt. Actually, my second. I already have a Golden Muzzy t-shirt, but Team LTD put it together. So make sure to check out the link in my bio on Instagram, Twitter. You can purchase one of these beauties, and we'll have more giveaways. We had 2 winners last week, giving away some great prizes here on the show. But yeah, looking forward to it. Not much has transpired the last couple of days. There's been a lot of smoke, but from the Leafs perspective, I'm curious because normally they jump the deadline, right? You see them make a transaction like 6 weeks before, and yet we're still here waiting. And I think it just speaks to the market, right?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, with back-to-backs coming up here, I mean, a telltale sign is holding a guy out of the lineup, something like that when they're just finalizing deals. But time will tell, man. I think any day something could happen and a trigger could get pulled. It'd be interesting to be GMs right now. I bet you everyone's just working the phones.
Yeah, just texting away. I wonder who's a big texter, who's a big caller, who's a big ghoster. There's got to be one of those in every room because we all have our friends, right? I'm sure you have friends the same way. There's always a couple who just don't respond to text for like 6 days. There's a couple right away that'll call you, and there's a couple that'll text you right away. Like, am I wrong on that front?
Yeah, for sure. Different guys have availability in different ways. I imagine some old GMs got their buddies that go way back and easy to talk to, and then other guys they might not care for so much for whatever reason, and dealing with them could always be different than dealing with other GMs that they might have history with. You know, it'd be interesting to see. I'd always wanted to be in the war room during the draft or during the deadline or free agent frenzy. It'd be an interesting thing.
That's the one thing I do love about you, Rosie. You respond quickly. I won't lie. One of my biggest pet peeves in life in 2023 is people who fucking respond like 6 weeks later or 6 days later. And I have people in my life who will respond to me like 6 days later where I completely forgot what I brought up, what I was talking about. It just makes no sense. And the thing that drives me crazy in this era too, we know everybody has their hands on their phone at all times. So you're screening me. You're ghosting me essentially.
Yeah. I was going to say, I got a couple buddies that just like to be off the grid, that don't really have their phone on them all the time and like to keep it at home or whatever. And I respect that. That's cool. But other than that, I know that a guy's got his phone in his pocket 24/7 or in his hand. And I know you've seen my thing. And it's just a simple, like, I'm asking you a question. It's a simple response, like yes or no, or what time, or what are you thinking? And a whole day goes by and they hit me up. Oh yeah, at 8 o'clock at night. I'm like, dude, like, are you kidding me? This is 2023, dude. Get with it.
Yeah, if you want to piss me off, do that in future, by the way. It just drives me nuts with anything in life. Just fucking respond to the text and move on with your day and your life. But I digress. Remember to subscribe, tap that like button, leave us a review wherever you're checking us out. And don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com for the very latest on all things Toronto Maple Leafs, like Rosey and Junior. We're lighting it up right now on our very own YouTube page at the Leafs Nation 401. At the Leafs Nation 401. You see our interview there with Matthew Nyes that we did the other day. Our interview with Dreger's there. All our content is over there, interviews, clips, stories. I mean, anything you could look for and ask for with Leafs Morning Take, you can find it at the Leafs Nation 401. And I think, again, eventually we will be migrating over doing our live show on that page. So make sure to get ahead of it. Jump early, subscribe, like. Don't forget to, we're giving away some great prizes courtesy Montana's and other things coming up. So make sure to keep it locked to our brand spanking new YouTube page. Without further ado, let's get over the boards. Okay, so I'm going to throw this out to the chat today because the chat's been hot and heavy the last couple of weeks here on the show on YouTube and at the Leafs Nation 401 again, where you can follow along as well. The goal song and where we all sit with the goal song. Like, we can't be in the minority and say, hey, it is time for a fucking new goal song. Like, just to put it out there first and foremost. Number two, if you had a personalized goal song that you wanted to put in place for this team or for yourself, or you were just laying up at night thinking, well, if I was in the show, what song would I like to score and then hear? Please tell us in the chat here on YouTube. Please indulge us, Rosie, because I mentioned this on the show yesterday and you weren't here, obviously. I was like, enough is enough. It was a game like that, a glorified scrimmage, if you will, against Chicago, because the Hawks didn't even show up for that game. They have no interest in winning hockey games, by the way, right now. But it was a glorified scrimmage, and all I kept hearing was that damn goal song. And don't get me wrong, I love Hall Oates, man, but enough's enough. Yeah, exactly. I'm hearing it right now. I'm going to go nuts.
It's a catchy song. It makes me want to snap my fingers, and I'm not a big finger snapper, but it's not an appropriate song for the Toronto Maple Leafs, the historic team in Toronto, one of the biggest teams in Canada, to be just continually for years now playing that bloody song. Like, what is it about that song that makes you just hold so dear to it? It's not like they've had success with it. It's not like it goes back in time. It's just some cheesy ass 80s song that they will not leave. There is so many other ones. I mean, come on, enough's enough. After they blow the playoffs, how many different times you'd think, well, we're going to get rid of that piece of shit after a while, and they just haven't. I was surprised when they came out with it this year. I thought they'd mix it up, but my God, now they're going to go deep in the playoffs this year, and they'll have to hold on to that thing maybe.
Dude, the best part about it is the players, I think, going into this season, Mitch Marner included, were pulled about the goal song and Matthews. And they're like, yeah, I wouldn't mind a new one. And what happens? Game 1 of the season, it's the same fucking song. I don't know. It's just never going to change. And maybe this is so typical of Leafs Nation. We're complaining about a goal song, and I get it. But look at that mustache, man. The only thing that rivals that duster is on my T-shirt right now. Look at that.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, I remember playing for the Leafs, man, for most of my time. When we came out onto the ice to start the game, we had the tragically hit playing 50 mission cap.
Yeah.
And I mean, man, I had goosebumps every time. You got the maple leaf on your chest. You're jumping out to the ACC, Scotiabank now in Toronto. Gord Downey's singing a famous song about Bill Barilko and a hockey card of his that he grew up with. And it's just like, my God, this is fitting. And now I'm watching, and you got some cheesy ass little frickin' 80s
head bobber,
teeny bopper beatbox and thing going on every time they score. And then you shoot the lights out like they did the other time, and you hear that thing 6 times, and it's like, doesn't this team deserve better, man? Doesn't the organization and the city deserve better than that cheesy thing? Okay, do it for a year, fine. The kids can snap their fingers, but move on.
It's Mickey Mouse to me. Like, I off the top of my head, can you name one player on this team that was actually born or alive when this song was released in 1981? I think Mark Giordano's the only one off the top of my head. Like, there's just no parallels or relation you can draw to the roster. Like, they're a younger team, and to have a song that's 42 years old is crazy to me. I don't know, and maybe I make too much of it. You know me, I like to brew up controversy for no reason. But this has been a thing sticking in my head for like 3 years, even dating back to when I covered this team. I was the radio host. I was in the building hearing the song over and over and over again. I'm like, can we not do any better? Can we not ask the players who are actually playing the games? Like, I think it's too simple and easy here.
Yeah, like I think that must be because the building's kind of famous for being pretty corporate, and those platinum seats down at the bottom, people in their little box getting food and having a bullshit. So on TV it looks like it's not even full at the beginning of each period because people are still migrating back to those platinum seats, and they're not the type of people that jump up and scream and bash the glass and stuff. So maybe they're trying to get people on their feet with like the catchiest tune they can think of. But it's like you said, it's been going on for years now. It's very weird. Something small to bitch about, but at the same time, it's like, move on from that tune, man. It's cheesy as hell. Mickey Mouse is a good word for it.
It's not getting people on their feet. It's getting the dart smokers to the dart pit. Do they even have dart pits anymore? But like, it's just getting me out of my seat to go grab a beer, man. Like, it drives me nuts. We went to a game earlier this year, and then additionally, I went to that game against Anaheim. I think it was in November. They scored 7 times, dude. I heard that song twice, and I'm like, get me out of here. So just imagine this, and I always think about this. Game 7, first round, Stanley Cup final, whatever round you want to do it. The Leafs score a pivotal goal, and this song comes on. Like, that's not in your head growing up, how you envision the Leafs winning a cup or winning a big game. That just doesn't do it for me. And again, I have all the love and respect in the world for Hall & Oates. It's just not the right song for this team, Rosie.
Yeah, it's a serious thing, like that huge thing where, this triumphant song is playing over and it's like, fuck yeah. And then this little teeny bopper beat comes on. It doesn't fit, man. It never did fit. It doesn't fit. Get rid of it.
They should go old school, man. I don't know what the song was. What was the song when you were a Leaf? Do you remember?
I think we switched it around. I don't know. I remember that. I remember 50 Mission Cap, like nothing else,
Was it
man. And that's just what
Kerncraft?
sticks out in my mind. What's that?
Oh. Was it Kerncraft?
Yeah.
Remember that Kerncraft
Yeah.
song? That was dope.
That
That was
rings a
dope.
bell. Yeah, it is
That
good,
was a
man. It's
thing
kind
for
of
a while. Yeah.
it's a serious song. It's a good song. It's a fitting song. Like you say, you play it in the playoffs and a big, huge goal or an overtime win. You need something like that.
Yeah, that reminds me of the Pat Quinn era. Nonetheless, if you have a thought on a personalized goal song, your views on the current goal song, please elaborate. Please tell us how you feel in the chat below here on YouTube. Tim writes in, the goal song sucks. Even the Nation Network chimed in. I don't even know who's at the helm of the Nation Network YouTube channel right now, but maybe the worst goal song in the league. So shots fired there, right there. QF Pro 21 writes in, not a Leaf spam, but that's a goal that's the goal song. Yikes, I can't read today. But pretty much chirping it. And then Josh writes in, yes, please, when I prompted the question, is it time for the Leafs to adopt a new goal song? So we're not the only ones. I'm happy we can leave this chat today knowing we're not the only ones that suggest it is long overdue for a change. But they're not going to do it in season. So we're going to have to deal with this for the rest of the regular season, the Stanley Cup playoffs. And hopefully in October, year 2 of Leafs Morning Take, we have a brand new song to break down, Rosey.
Yeah, in September, everyone tweet the Leafs Twitter account and just say, if I hear that thing again, I'm not coming.
Yeah. That'll be the day when people boycott Scotiabank Arena. All those corporates who actually don't watch the game, but they're eating sushi down below. When they boycott, we have an issue. We got a problem in this world. Nonetheless, Rosey, another back-to-back this weekend. Care to make another guarantee this time around? Are you going to stay put for now?
I haven't been doing good with guaranteed 4-pointers. Pretty confident against the Blackhawks, but again, the way they just smashed them, maybe they will do their famous not show up again. Who knows? But my eyes really on that Saturday game against the Montreal Canadiens. We owe them big time. And I'd like to prove a point against them on Saturday night. I think it's the big game of the weekend, no question about it. And I'd like to really see them make a statement there and then follow up by proving that, hey, we don't just blow our load and then be finished with the weekend and can't show up against, the Chicago Blackhawks. Follow it up with another performance just the way they just played them a few nights ago.
So my boy Raphael Harvey Pinard had his way with Austin Matthews a couple weeks ago. There's only a couple games this season where I completely lost my head. There was the 2 against Arizona. It's like, here we go. 2 against Montreal. How do you lose to this team? Like, Montreal is pretty abundantly clear. Like, they want Connor Bedard. They want a good pick. They're hoping that Florida chokes down the stretch to get another top first-round pick. And Raphael Harvey Pinard, yes, your boy with the hyphenation, gets called up from the AHL and ran roughshod on the Matthews line a couple weeks ago. I want a response tomorrow. I want to run them out of the building. It's the first of 2 in the second half here against Montreal at Scotiabank Arena. Flex your muscles, man. Like, I still have a shitty-ass taste. And now where it's a couple years removed, I still don't know how they blew that 3-1 lead to the Montreal Canadiens. They had them dead to rights. That series is over. And then we all know the run Montreal went on after that. So, again, nothing is going to solidify or change that pain for yours truly or Leafs fans in general, losing to the rival Montreal Canadiens, but just beat them in the regular season. They're an inferior opponent. Take care of business tomorrow, Rosey.
Yeah, exactly, man. And I think I touched on that on my 3 hits yesterday. I mean, this just doesn't happen because you're a good team and they're not. It's too close of a league. It doesn't happen. You have to show up, you have to prepare, you have to do the right things, and then your superiority will take over in the game like it did to the Blackhawks there with the way the Leafs played there the other night. And you got to do that again, and you got to show up and you got to put in the time and the effort. You don't get nights off, man, or it will bite you. And you would think that this team has learned that, like you say, dropping multiple games to the Canadiens, games to the Coyotes. And, you see Tampa lose to the Coyotes too. It's not synonymous with the Toronto Maple Leafs, but, when you follow them long enough, you notice that they have a pattern of doing so. On the flip side of the coin, at least they can beat Boston and Tampa and beat these teams as well. The the top tier teams, when they get ready and prepared, that tells me that it's a mental deal. And collectively as a team, they got to show up and get it done. This weekend's a good test for that against two teams they should be able to beat every time.
Man, I was laughing at Sheldon Keefe's comments on Wednesday after they just beat the hell out of Chicago, effectively saying, like, yeah, we'll take the 2 points, but there's not much you really can grab from that game. Like, dude, was there even a hit in that hockey game? I'm sorry. Like, I know Chicago showed some bite against Montreal on Tuesday, but, like, it felt like I was playing beer league hockey on a Sunday, man. It was insane. And I look up, it's the National League.
Yeah, it's one of those weird ones. Every league's got a couple of, matchups or teams that just don't seem to have much jam or pushback. There's probably some turmoil in the locker room, different disputes going on from different guys, and it was showing their light the other night.
Yeah. Anyways, there you go. Get it out of your system, my dude. I know it's been a busy morning for you, which leads us to the premiere debut edition
Here we go.
of Ask Rosey Anything. We got a new segment. Rosey Tweets wants to make a return, but you never fucking tweet, I noticed. Like, you had one tweet that I was going to call out because your grammar is just atrocious, man. Like, you...
Oh, there's an apostrophe on an S, and you're texting me like I just fucking went off the rails with Twitter, for crying out loud. That's iPhone for you.
No, that was a thing that drove me nuts. Is you tried to blame your iPhone for adding an apostrophe in Leafs. Come on, man. Like, that's just a shit excuse.
I think I was driving while I tweeted that.
Yeah, you're not supposed to admit that. That's illegal, Rosie. That's illegal. So Ask Rosey Anything pretty much prompted people on social media, here in the YouTube chat. If you have a question for Jay Rosehill, I always like to bring up when I work with former players, like, you had the luxury of being a national leaguer, playing in the league. Everybody's got a question for a guy who played in the NHL. So I put together a couple. Answer as you would like. Favorite NHL city to party in, Rosehill?
To party, and I mean, when you're playing the Rangers and you're in Manhattan, there's never, especially when you got a guy that played there or is from there and knows where to go. I've been to some cool bars, man, where it's like, you walk out and it's bright out and you can't believe it. But this one bar, it was like down some stairs off like a random road, no sign, no nothing. And you go in and they only serve red wine and PBR. And in there was the most eclectic mix of people I've ever seen. There was like Orthodox Jew guys in the corner with their, hats and curls going on. There was some hipsters in the corner playing ping pong. There was some businessmen with their suits on. We came in, we're cruising, and everyone was just getting along, drinking red wine or PBR. And we were in there all night long doing all kinds of stuff. It was a blast. So New York City's obviously pretty wicked. Chicago's a wicked city. I always like to go to Texas. I like Dallas quite a bit. I mean, when you're playing Anaheim, usually, you set up shop at like, Santa Monica, and then you can go down to LA, you can go up to Anaheim, and you set up shop there for 3 or 4 days. And obviously you can get into some fun there. So to be honest with you, there's no shortage of places to go when you're in a show city, to be honest with you. So take your pick.
Okay, fair enough. I remember when they called California Death Valley. Remember when all three teams were unbelievable and you guys would just go down there and get destroyed? That happened a couple years in like 2012, 2013. I'm like, these guys are not there to play hockey. They're there for the beach. They're there for Hollywood, and they're there to get steamrolled by LA, San Jose, and the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah, sometimes that conference would get the best of you. It reminds me of Vegas. Vegas wasn't in the league when I was there. So I remember, when Vegas's first year there, the other year, last year, they were their home record spoke for itself. And you know why that is. Some of those guys are a little excited to be in a new flashy city. And it's probably hard to get yourself in bed before midnight playing there.
Yeah, we know you were there a couple weeks ago and you ran into a pretty good hockey player. The story we're going to tell on these airways one day, right?
Me and Ovi had a run-in in the hotel.
One day we will share that story. Let's let it fester for a couple years, I think. Yeah, let's let it percolate for a couple years, and then we're gonna give you the floor, and you are gonna tell your Alex Ovechkin story, because Rosey comes back from that trip. First and foremost, he was just dejected. Like anybody who goes to Vegas, there's like that 4 or 5 days after that trip where you're like, fuck the world, fuck everybody. I don't want to do this show with Nick Alberga first and foremost. But like you were sort of in that pattern, and you're like, oh yeah, this happened. And I'm like, no way that happened.
Yeah, that was like wasn't even the highlight of the trip. It was just what I squeaked out, and I was hardly talking. Just wanted to put everything behind me. It was a calamity of errors that whole goddamn trip. So yeah, I'm putting it behind me, but I'll bust that story out one time soon.
Yeah, pretty much happens to everybody. The best of us who go to Vegas. Favorite NHL teammate?
Oh man, that's rough.
Who'd you
It's
hate?
gotta be Luke Shen. I mean, I sat with him
Your
on the
guy,
plane
eh?
both all through Toronto, all through Toronto, all through Philadelphia, and he was solid. I mean, there's guys that like Matthew Lombardi is just like the salt of the earth guy.
Yeah,
Clark MacArthur, just one of the most solid guys. I think we'll get him on the show soon.
yeah.
There's just way too many, man. The guys throughout the minors that you just have those bonds with. And I was just talking to a buddy I played with in like 05, 06 this morning, and we're catching up. He's out in Kelowna. So endless to pick one, man, but tons of characters, tons of personalities. There's no shortage. I was lucky to play as long as I did and met a lot of good people.
Yeah, I was telling you how small the hockey world was. That I was in Florida a couple weeks ago for the All-Star game, and we'd been talking about Clark MacArthur. Let's get him on. Let's get him on. And who do I bump into at Elbow Room, which is a fine establishment on the beach that every media member goes to. A lot of alumni. It's just a small little dive bar. It's very similar to like Underground back in the day. And Clark fucking
Yeah.
MacArthur was there. I'm like, Buds, what's up? Like, it's just a
Clark.
small world. So he did say anything for Jay Rosehill. So he will come on the show, I would anticipate, in the next few months. How did you become a firefighter? That's the big time question, because Leafs fans always remember, I think it was Chad Kilger who became a firefighter back in the day. I think he still could be one, but a former Toronto Maple Leaf who became a firefighter. How did you become a firefighter?
That's cool. One of my first years in Toronto, actually, we went up to Northern Ontario, I think Trenton, Ontario, and we were doing like a team building thing after training camp, after the preseason, and we were waiting for the season to start. So we went up there. One of the things we did was went to like the fire hall at the airport. So we were making up some lunch and stuff, and in the meantime we went and we cut some cars up with the cutters and spreaders. We went into like an airplane fuselage, full bunker gear, and they're shooting fire all over us and over our head, and we got to go drag some dummies out. And then we were driving their big trucks with the water cannons and everything, and I was like, man, this is pretty fun. Then we go into the hall and start eating lunch with the crew, and the crew's just jabbing and jarring everybody, and they're chirping back and forth, and there's nothing but laughs and stuff. And I was like, fuck, this is your guys' job. Like, this is unreal. So that planted the seed. And then when it was getting close to the end of my career, Calgary opened up their hiring process, and I put my hat in the ring, and luckily right when I retired, I got a job. So I was just fighting a fire this morning. I smell like smoke right now. I didn't have time to shower, and it's just a blast laughing with the crew. And if not, you're doing something intense, helping people. It's just all around good job, and I'm lucky to have it. I feel like I've never worked a day in my life. My friends chirp me because I was a pro hockey player and then a firefighter after. So I really don't know what the grind is.
I like that, and that's a teammate right there, fresh out of a fire, right on to this show that we like to call Leafs Morning Take. So I do appreciate that, and that's why you were very well received and well liked by your former teammates as well. Last question here. Ask Rosey Anything, I think, has been a smashing success thus far. What was it like to play pro hockey in England? I had to search on HockeyDB for this one.
Oh, it was awesome, man. I'll be honest. I went over there. I knew my time in the show was done and everything. I went over there, and the golf courses were pretty alluring to me. I checked off most of the courses on the open rotation there. I'm a golf nerd, a golf historian, and to see all that shit was unbelievable. But the fans are really passionate, and I think while I was over there, the Great Britain team actually qualified for the World Championships, which they've been building towards for a long time. So their product is getting better and better. The reffing was absolutely atrocious, like laughably atrocious. So that was a big frustration for me. But aside from that, it was wicked. Passionate fans, cool country, cool cities I lived in. We go into Manchester United games and played in Scotland as well. And playing St. Andrews, doing all that it was wicked, a wicked experience. My kid started school there. He was in the British uniform, and he was talking like, can we go to the park and get that in the bin, and then we go on the roof? And we were dying laughing. He was like 4. 5, and we were laughing,
Yeah.
and he didn't know what everyone was laughing at. But 2 weeks after getting back home, he lost his accent. So it was short lived, but totally wicked experience for me and my family.
Yeah, it's so true because I've been to England and it's like anything. Like I've been on these tours in Europe, and when you hang out with Australians or like English people or whoever has an accent, you pick it up like really, really quickly. Even if you're in the States for a couple weeks too, I find you get that American twang in your accent. And it's funny you bring that up and I bring that up because I'm actually in the process of booking a trip to Europe. And the first stop, the first destination will be London. I've been a couple times. It wasn't crazy about it. It's more pubs. Like I'm more of like, if I'm going to go to Europe, like I want to hit a club, I want to have a good time. Not to say you can't have a good time at a pub, but I'm going to hit you up for some locations and spots to hit. What is it? Piccadilly Circus there? Big Ben?
Yeah, there's lots going on. London, I went into once. It was too busy, too crazy for me. We
Yeah.
did the whole tourist shit like that. But in the towns I was living in, man, when you fly into those, cities in England and Scotland and Wales, you see nothing but steeples. And then when you get there, you realize a lot of those churches have been converted to pubs, and there's some pretty wicked pubs with a lot of character in them with, having 200-year-old churches and whatnot being transformed into pubs. My dad came in, he's like, this feels kind of blasphemous drinking in a pub. I'm like, is what it is.
Wow, your old man pulled out a big time word for that occasion, eh?
Yeah, he's very cultured.
He didn't teach you how to use apostrophes, apparently, though. That's the unfortunate part.
Holy
You
fuck.
mentioned
The grammar
you
police.
like golf. I am a grammar stickler, big time one, because I used to be terrible at grammar, and then I was like, oh shit, this is important in life. You mentioned golf. I'm not sure if you saw this yesterday. What did you think of Tiger Woods handing Justin Thomas that Tampax after he outdrove him on that one hole? Like, is he going to get canceled for this, Rosie? Is that where we're headed?
I think it's pretty obvious you can't cancel Tiger Woods. I mean, he banged every woman
True.
on the fucking planet, crashed his car high as a kite, got arrested 4 times. I think he's beyond that. But I mean, as soon as I saw that, I was like, this is Photoshop, man. Like, no way.
You think it
But
is?
no, it was real. And I mean, Tiger just loves jarring and jabbing and,
Look at it.
shooting the shit and playing jokes. But that is clearly, and you look at him, he's not even looking at him. And Justin's like, what the fuck's he giving me? Like some teas or something? And it's a tampon, which I don't think in the woke culture right now, he's basically saying, hey, you're a chick. I just pounded it by you. But I mean, I'm sorry, girls don't drive the golf ball as far as men do, and that's a joke that some girls won't like. But I mean, the only thing that's getting hurt is feelings, and I just don't think whatever you're going to say what you want to Tiger, say that's awful, you're terrible, you're a misogynist, do all the buzzwords of the woke culture today is fine. I don't think it's going to bother him, but a joke he probably didn't think was going to be across the entire media this morning, if you ask me.
That's the first thing, sadly, I thought about. Is Tiger going to get canceled? But to your point, he's done a lot of stuff in his career. Lots has happened to Tiger Woods. So this is like, I don't even think this makes the top 10, unfortunately, for him.
Yeah, it probably doesn't. And there'll probably be some pushback, but to be honest, I don't think it's going to land anywhere. And, I mean, if you're trying to be proper and all the rest of it, that's probably not the best joke in the world. But I think amongst two buddies, and he's trying to show the old boys that he's still got it and knock him down a peg or two. And he did it yesterday, man. He's out driving him and Rory McIlroy. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, be better, Tiger. Be better. I will say I did cash on a Tiger prop to get at least 4 birdies yesterday, which he had like 3 straight birdies to wrap up his round. I got a bonus and I got a bit of a boost on that bet, so I was happy about that. And speaking of bets, Rosie's going for 3 for 3 today. The wrap up is brought to you by our friends at PointsBet Canada. All right, Rosie, take it away, buddy. Here we go.
All right, yeah, another shit board, but looking through what's going on there and the numbers and the lines. I mean, I'm looking at the New York Rangers to beat the Edmonton Oilers. I know it's in Edmonton, but the New York Rangers are on a 6-game heater right now. I think they got an extra push there with that Tarasenko trade, rounded out their lineup quite a bit, and the Oilers are, on a 2-game losing streak, and they're capable of anything. This could blow up in my face if two of the best players in the world decide to turn it on, but you're getting plus 110 money for the New York Rangers that are way above the Oilers in the standings. They're on a 6-game heater. I don't understand why you wouldn't take that bet. I thought that the Rangers were going to be pretty evenly matched or a little bit underdog or over favored in the game, and they're total underdogs. So jump on them. I think that's one that the Rangers can win in Edmonton for sure.
I've never met somebody who just has like pre-built excuses every time he's got to do a betting segment. And then here I am. I did like 28 in a row, never complained one. It's always a shit card, but I do agree with you because I'm guesting on a betting show on VSiN out of Vegas earlier or later today. And I was looking at the board. And I'm like, I'm not crazy about anything. Like I'm looking at a potential draw to OT between like the Islanders and Pittsburgh. There's not much I like out there, and I think the best advice we can give to bettors, like if you're not feeling something, don't be forced or pressed into making a decision. Just like sit back and don't do anything. But I will stand with you because you have been hot, and so have the Rangers. 3-0 with Tarasenko and Riikola, and now they've won 6 in a row, and that could be a potential Stanley Cup preview. We don't hope for that here in Toronto, obviously, but like I think the Rangers are playing some excellent hockey, and Edmonton's been much better the last couple months.
Yeah, they have been. I mean, if they figure out kind of their defense and their goaltending, then they're a pretty good team. I think, they've had the anomaly of scratching their head year after year after year and starting to put things together here recently. So good for them. I'm not an Oilers hater. I would cheer for the Flames when they play, but, always hoping for the Oilers to do something. Any team in Alberta I'm a fan of, but I just don't see the value in this one. I don't think they should be the favorites in this, and the Rangers are just flying too high. So there's some free money for you guys if you want to jump on board.
Fair enough. And I believe producer Alex writes in and says, I ghost you guys all the time, which is very true, which prompted that conversation about texting. But I know Alex doesn't respond to anything for work-related reasons after like 6 or 7. Understandable. You got to shut it down sometimes. That's just life. Speaking of which, the chat's red hot, man. We got some Oilers fans in here trolling Owen Poser, great name there. He doesn't like Owen Power, I guess. Hardly anyone in the chat or watching. The Oilers chat has hundreds of fans and tons of comments. Leafs fans, you are embarrassing. So QF Pro responds, that's aggressive. Nation Network started as Oilers Nation. It makes sense. There's less here. You're damn right on that front. We are bringing the heat at the Leafs Nation 401, where you can follow along. We're getting there, Rosie. We're heating up just like the Leafs. And I would say that the Leafs are going to beat the Oilers in terms of the Stanley Cup playoffs. They're making it further this year.
Yeah, I mean, that would be nice. That is the plan, that's for sure. I got bets with my buddies that are Flames fans that the Leafs are going to do better than the Oilers, and he's like, they're not going to get past the first round, so we got money on the line for that. And, man, sitting here listening to my friends that follow hockey in Alberta here between the Oilers and the Flames fans, their back and forth is pretty legendary, both passionate fans, especially those Oilers. They are very passionate, and, man, there's lots to scratch your head about in the last, 12 years. With those guys, I thought they were going to win maybe 2-3 cups in a row there, and didn't quite happen.
At the very least, I would love to see Matthews or Tavares or McDavid or Draisaitl, like somebody cool hoist that cup. You love to see the better players win. Anyways, before we wrap, I should mention too that we're giving away a $100 gift card on Tuesday. Make a note of this. No show on Monday. It's family day, so we're going to chill out with our families. But on Tuesday, we'll be back, and we're going to be giving away a $100 gift card to Montana's. All you got to do is like the post on social media, follow at Montana's BBQ and TLNDC, and tag your friends in the comments. Note that each comment is an entry. So again, we'll be giving away a $100 gift card on Tuesday, Rosie. So not with us on Monday. We're going to, look back to the weekend, obviously look forward to the trade deadline coming up on Tuesday. So you'll have an extra day to think about a potential guarantee, okay?
I like it. All things are good. We're right where we need to be. So let's have a big weekend, and then we'll start off with that and have a big week.
Let's do it. And QF Pro, just to wrap, you got to change your goal song to make round 2. I could not agree anymore with that breakdown, Rosie. Can you?
Why not just do it? Just do it right now. Just next time they score a goal, bang.
It's not this fucking song. Anyways, see you later. We'll talk on Tuesday. Take care.
Hopefully it's the last time we hear this piece of shit.